hike, hike! Easy now, through the gate.
In the heart of Yakutia, where the air itself freezes and shatters, an unlikely alliance was forged by the merciless cold. This is the story of a widow, hardened by the Siberian wilderness, and a lone polar bear, a king displaced by the shifting ice. Their paths crossed under the pale, unforgiving sun, not as enemies, but as guardians of life in a land that offered little more than a beautiful death. Before them a precious herd of Arctic goats, their white coats a fragile promise of survival against the endless snow. But they were not alone in this desolate expanse. A blizzard, a churning beast of wind and ice, was descending upon them. And with it came the wolves, not one, not 10, but 1,000 hungry shadows, their eyes glowing like embers in the twilight. The storm was their ally, erasing every trail, swallowing every sound except the howling that promised a savage end. For the widow and the polar bear, there was no retreat, no shelter to be found. The world had shrunk to this one frozen battlefield, a small circle of life surrounded by a relentless, circling hunger. This wasn't just a fight for the goats. It was a war against the very essence of the Siberian wild. Every gust of wind was a physical blow, every drop in temperature a step closer to oblivion. Frostbite was a silent predator creeping into their bones, while fear gnawed at their resolve. The wolves were masters of this domain, a coordinated force of nature, patient and lethal. They tested the defenses, a flowing river of gray fur and sharp teeth, their strategy honed by generations of icy hunts. The widow, with her years of experience, understood the language of the ice. She knew how to read the wind, how to conserve every calorie, every spark of warmth. Her rifle was an extension of her will, a cold piece of steel that spoke a language the wolves understood. Beside her, the polar bear stood as a monument of pure, raw power. His roars tore through the blizzard's scream, a defiant challenge to the encroaching darkness. He was the brute force to her sharp intellect, a wall of fur and fury against the tide. They held the line. Through the long, terrifying night, they fought back to back. The air crackled with the clash of instinct and survival. The snow, once pure white, became a canvas of their desperate struggle. It was a symphony of chaos, the sharp report of the rifle, the guttural snarls of the bear, and the unending, chilling howls of the wolf pack. They fought for every inch of ground, for every breath of frozen air. They fought not for glory, but for the simple, profound act of protecting what was still alive. This tale is a glimpse into the brutal reality of one of the coldest, most inhospitable places on earth. It's a story about the impossible courage it takes to stand against overwhelming odds, to find strength not in numbers, but in a shared, desperate purpose. What drives a woman to defend a herd of goats with her life? What compels a solitary predator to become a protector? In the end, it's about the untamable spirit that refuses to be extinguished, even when the world itself is trying to freeze it solid. This journey is one of danger, sacrifice, and the raw, unyielding will to survive in the Siberian wild. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by this story of courage against the frozen odds, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the world's most extreme frontiers.